Well, good afternoon, everyone, and wonderful to see everyone for another wonderful week here at the Aguda Fairways. Yossi Apachinsky is going to Eretz Yisrael for Akamas Matseva. If anybody wants to give him Shliach Mitzvah Geld, he'll be glad to take it. Also, last week, Baruch Hashem, we had no problem with minyan throughout the week except for Monday night. Monday night we didn't have minyan. It was the only time we didn't have minyan. So anybody could come to minyan tomorrow night and strengthen it. It would be great. Tonight we have the daf at 8 with, there's no second marav on Sunday night, but we have the daf at 8 and we have a chok after the daf. So a full schedule here this evening. We are, we are in the third parak of Makos already, sponsored by the Fisher family, Nishmas, Basi Bas Rabbi Shlomo ben Avram Alevi, Perel Bas Ruvain. We learn Nishmas, David ben Chaim, Lefu Shalem for the Yomis ben Chayesar, Yaakov ben Bas Yeleh, Schus of Avram and Yom Benish ben Malk Yudis and family. We learn by Eddie Chazan for his Zayder of Yedidya Toledano, his neshama should have an aliyah, and for the safety of the soldiers. And L'Refu Shalema for Moshe Meir ben Esther Fradel, for Rivka Bashir Alei, Dvar Bashoshabina, Meir ben Chayesara. Okay, so we're continuing those Averis where they would get Malchus. Now these are Isurei Karis, many of them, but Isur Karis loikin olav. So therefore, Atamei she'achal es HaKodesh, if somebody eats kachim b'tumas haguf, his body being tummy, that's an Isur Karis. V'aboel HaMikdash tummy. If somebody comes into the Mikdash tummy, you hear all that talk about people going onto the Temple Mount. They're flirting with an Isur Karis. Today we're all Tmei Mason because we don't have the Tara of the Paraduma. We're all Tmei Mason, and we need to have the Hazav, Shlishi, or Shvi in order to become Tar. Going therefore on the Temple Mount is one of the 36 Isurei Karas. So it's it's really they're flirting with very, very grave danger. So Habal HaMikdash, if somebody would enter in the Mikdash while in Tumas Haguf, he would get Malchus. V'oichel kelev, one who eats forbidden fat, v'dam, or blood, v'noiser, that's a kachim that's left over after its permitted time. Kachim have shelf life, like a chatas is 1 day and 1 night, a shlomim is 2 days and 1 night. Left after that, it's nicer, and if you eat it, it's an Isur Karis. Or pigel. Pigel is a very specific thing. If you do one of the 4 avodas Adam, one of the 4 blood services, Shchita, Kabbalah, Hilacha, and Zrika, with a machshava to eat it after its time or smoke it up after its time, then that carbon would become pigel and it would be an Isur Karis. V'tamei. Tamei means that if somebody eats kachim that was tamei. So all of these are Isurei Karis, and therefore you would get Malchus. Hashoichet v'amala b'chutz, if somebody shechts a carbon outside the base of Mikdash or smokes it up outside the base of Mikdash. V'oichel chametz b'Pesach, somebody eats chametz on Pesach, Rachman al-Tzlan. Or v'ha'oichel v'oisa melacha b'Yom Kippurim, if one eats or does melacha on Yom Kippur. V'amafatem es hashemen, if somebody compounds the shemen oil with the ingredients of the shemen hamishcha, or v'amafatem es haktoris, if somebody compounds the incense using the amounts of the 11 spices mentioned in the Torah, or v'asach b'shemen hamishcha, if somebody anoints himself with the shemen hamishcha of Moshe Rabbeinu. If somebody eats an animal that wasn't shechted, or trephus, an animal that had a fatal flaw, like a perforated membrane of the brain, even if it was shechted properly, it's a treifa. Shkatzim or ramasim, if somebody eats shkatzim, disgusting things like rodents, like snakes, or ramasim, creeping things like animals, worms, small worms that seem to swarm on the ground. You don't see their feet, or stuff that grew in rotting apples, and you eat it. Achal tevel, if you eat untithed produce, so ma'aser rishon shaloi nitna trumasai, or the first ma'aser that's given to the Levi before the trumas ma'aser is taken from it, or ma'aser sheni v'hektish shaloi niptu, or ma'aser sheni and hektish that wasn't redeemed, right? So if you do that, you get malchus. Kama yoichel min tevel v'yahei chayiv, how much you have to eat from tevel to be chayiv. Reb Shimon has a very interesting chiddush. Reb Shimon says, we all know that there's malchus for a beria, for a creature. If it's a whole creature, it has a cheshivas, even if it's less than a kazayas. Reb Shimon holds that a blade of wheat is also a creature. It also has its own significance. While the Chacham Ma'imim kazayas. No, when it comes to wheat, you have to eat a kazayas, the share of achila. Amalim Reb Shimon, don't you agree with me that if you eat an ant and it's a minuscule ant, you're chayiv? So Amrullah, that's because it's a bria, it's a creature, it has an identity of its own. So Amrullah, so Reb Shimon's opinion is afchita achas kibriyasa. One blade of grain also is a bria. If somebody eats the first fruits before the formula was said over them, or kachim chutz klaim, if he eats kachim outside of the curtains, meaning outside of the azara, like a chatas and ashim, kachim kalam ma'aser sheni chutz l'chayma, kachim kalam like a shlamim, like a taida, like bechar, like ma'aser behema, or ma'aser sheni, the second tithe, in the first, second, fourth, and fifth year of the Shemitah cycle, the second tithe was separated and brought up to Yerushalayim. If he ate the ma'aser sheni outside of the walled city, hashover es etzem ba'pesach hator, if somebody breaks a bone in a tor dika pesach, right? Etzem lo yisish berubay, harizel loy ka'arbam. For all of these, he gets malchus arbam. Aval hamoiser bator. But if somebody leaves over a korban pesach, let's say, it says lo yisiru mimenu ad boker. If somebody leaves it beyond the morning, even though he's over a lav, but that's a lav hanituk la'aseh, because it says, so therefore, he only has to burn it, he doesn't get malchus. If somebody breaks a bone of a korban pesach that's tameh, the only isser is if it's tar. Somebody breaks a bone of a korban pesach that's tar, ain't a loika arbam. He doesn't get malchus arbam. It's very interesting. The lav of the etzem lo yisish berubay. First of all, we're supposed to be on the night of the Seder like rich people, like royalty, mamlechas kahanim v'goy kodesh. And a king doesn't break a bone in order to suck out the marrow. He says, bring out another animal. So that's one reason. Another reason is remember that we were told to slaughter the korban pesach because it was the god of the Egyptians, and we were supposed to show we're slaughtering the god. And therefore, don't camouflage it. Don't break any bones that it should be camouflaged. Somebody might think that it's not a sheep or a goat, their god. Don't break a bone. Again, a reminder that tonight we have Daf at 8, followed by a chak. And tomorrow, also another thing, I'm very proud to tell the Olam that this evening we gave, this actually was on Thursday, I sent to the Kollel in Beitar $1,500. This is the most we ever sent for a month. Usually I send $1,360, but some people gave me a little extra money, so I sent them $1,500. If anybody did not give yet that wants to give, please give it to me and mark it. Money that I get is for the shul. If it's for the kollel, you have to tell me that this is money for the kollel. Then I know it goes into the separate account for the kollel. Tomorrow night, remember the second marav at 7:45.